and welcome to episode 1 of series 1 of Master League Story Mode. Now, I am very excited to get going with this Master League, as I'm sure you'll all agree, there's nothing better than starting a fresh Master League, you know, that new Master League smell. Well, before I do, and before we get going, I guess some of you may be wondering, what exactly is Master League Story Mode? That's not a real mode, you might be saying. That doesn't exist, you might wonder. Well, you would be wondering correctly, in a way. It doesn't technically exist, but where it does exist is in my head. So for this series, I'm going to be letting you all inside my head. Not in a sort of lobotomy way, but in a theoretical way. I'm going to be taking you through how I like to play Master League. So essentially what Master League Story Mode is a way that I've been playing the game for the last 4 or 5 years, just to add a little bit of difficulty, a little bit of interest, a little bit of spice, just to keep me engaged basically. And the way that I play is I take on the role of a real life manager. So this could be an ex-player, or it could be an ex-manager or an existing manager. And what I try and do is get inside their head, become them, think as they do, walk as they do, talk as... Well, okay, no, I don't walk or talk as they do, but think as they do. So I try and play the formations and the tactics that they play in real life. Only sign players from clubs that they've had, that they've been involved with or they've played for or they've managed in the past. And, thirdly, and perhaps most interestingly or most importantly, I like to cook up a little storyline, a little scenario within which the game exists. So I think that's enough really as a little opener. I've already babbled plenty, but there'll be more of that, I'm sure. But I think the best way to explain the minutiae of story mode is to just get cracking. So here we go. Bit of admin first. Let's get the general settings out of the way nice and quick because it's pretty dull. We're going with superstar match level. Match time 10 minutes, that's fine. Currency unit, we'll stick with a good old British pound. Great. Classic players, no. Additional leagues, no thank you. Transfer window, whatever. Let's go. So, now we're into the interesting bit already, the big reveal. Which manager are we going to be playing through this Master League Story Mode with? Well, I can reveal exclusively, first of all, that it is going to be an Englishman. And what an Englishman. This man has played for England. He's won the English Premier League. He's managed in the English Premier League. With mixed results, but he's managed. He has, definitely. It is none other than Tactics Tim Sherwood. Yes, come on down, Tim. Bring your banter. Bring all your laughs and your jokes and your passion. And let's see how we do. Now, while I craft Tim's godlike appearance in the editor, let's have a quick recap of his career. So I'm going to play you a little montage that I've put together of some of the best bits from his time as a player and as a manager. So if you're wondering why I've chosen Tim Sherwood, I'm pretty sure this will clear it up for you. So I'll see you in a minute.
I was well pleased with it.
Flying heather.
That's it, yeah, well, that's what I tell people.
We've been playing very well this year and do the business on the pitch.
And oh dear, Sherwood. Congratulations to Blackburn Rovers. For so long a club with a glorious past, now a club with a glittering future.
He's at feet. It's Sherwood with a free kick. Oh no!
Tim Sherwood has been handed the role of head coach at Spurs on a full-time basis.
That guy's an expert. Seriously, every week he tells me what to do. This one's rubbish, that one's an embarrassment. You need to change this. Why don't you play more attacking? Why don't you shore it up? So I give him the opportunity to do the job. Yeah, I mean, overall, if you look at, I can only judge the season on basically when I've taken over. 59% win ratio in the games is second to none.
After growing speculation about how long he would last in the job, Tottenham Hotspur manager Tim Sherwood has been given the sack by club chairman Daniel Levy.
Tim Sherwood takes time out to soak up his new surroundings at Aston Villa, but he didn't hang around when it came to accepting the job offer as Villa boss.
It was a no-brainer.
We saw you throw your gilet behind.
It wasn't a gilet, it was a coat.
They are in a decline. It's not Tim Sherwood's problem. It is his problem, obviously.
Breaking news is that Tim Sherwood, according to Sky sources, has been sacked from his position as manager at Aston Villa. It follows a fourth defeat in a row against Swansea.
Okay, so here he is, Tim Sherwood. Pretty good, I'm sure you'll agree. As you can probably see, I've gone for a sort of vintage Pro Evo 4 styling. I think it's pretty effective. Okay, I'm just having you on. I'm just kidding. Let's see how I actually did. So yeah, I'm pretty pleased. It looks relatively like him. I've captured his sort of scrunched up small face features, his lovely stubble, piercing blue eyes, perfect comb over. So we've got all the, the key elements of Tim Sherwood in there, and it looks a lot more like him than the default. So I'm pretty pleased. Quick recap on the montage before we get any further. Obviously there's some great stuff in there. He has a lot of character to him, which is what I like about Tim Sherwood. He's a very honest, straightforward guy. Loves a bit of banter, obviously. But what you see is what you get with Tim, and hopefully we can try and channel some of that into the tactics and the way that we play the game. So, okay, without further ado, let's go and see who's going to be managing this season. As I mentioned at the beginning, it's going to be a championship team. And when we're thinking of championship teams for Tim to manage at, there's really only one logical choice. And that is Blackburn Rovers. Yes, indeed. He is going back to the home of his greatest triumph as a player, where he won the Premier League title in the 94-95 season as club captain under Kenny Dalglish. Now, I'm sure the Blackburn faithful will be happy to have him back. But before we move into the game, let's quickly consider the scenario, the storyline that I mentioned at the beginning that we'll be playing within. So if you cast your mind back to October 2015, unfortunately Tim was let go from his job at Aston Villa. He had a difficult run of games. He went a long time without a win. I can't remember the exact stats, but to be fair, the odds were stacked against him. He lost Delph and Benteke, his two key players, and the money from those transfers was not reinvested wisely, which I don't think you can blame Tim for solely. I know that transfer committees were involved, and the players that were brought in just simply didn't have the Premier League experience, or the quality really, to keep Villa competitive after losing two of their best players. So anyway, probably fair enough, he lost his job, and then a couple of weeks later, I think it was, early November, Gary Bowyer was sacked from the Blackburn job, which left for a lot of people, considered a Tim Sherwood-shaped hole at Blackburn Rovers, but he didn't take the job. I mean, from what I've heard, he was offered it. I think he probably considers himself a Premier League manager, but he didn't take it. But in this reality, we're going to assume that he did, and we're going to see how he does as Blackburn Rovers manager and see if he can get them back into the Premier League and back up to the heady heights of the mid-90s, where they were, a force to be reckoned with, only for a short period, sure, but, I think we can get them back here. So, obviously the dates don't line up perfectly. We're starting from the beginning of the season, whereas in the scenario, he took over at Christmas, or just before Christmas, but hey, let's not worry ourselves with that. Let's just get going. So here he is. Look at him. Beautiful. Majestic. They love him here. The beating, tenacious heart of the title-winning side of 94-95. The fans who've come out in their numbers. Okay, there's no one there, but they're pleased to have him back. Almost certainly. Okay, so we're in. Exciting. Now, before we have a look at the team and the transfers and the tactics and the formations, all the good stuff that I'm sure you're all excited to see, let's see what the club secretary's got to say. Now, it seems like the Venkies, the Blackburn owners, have only given Tim just over 1.2 million in wage budget to work with. Now, that doesn't seem a lot, and that makes me slightly concerned at the Venkies' finances at the moment. Maybe they're not selling as many chickens as they need to be. So I've done a little bit of digging, a little bit of investigative journalism, and I think I've found some interesting archive footage that potentially sheds light on why they're not selling enough chickens to give us a decent budget to work with.
The taste that brings the English Premier League team, Blackburn Rovers, to India. Blackburn Rovers, proudly owned by Venkies.
Wow. Yeah. So, incredible video that. Got to be one of the weirdest videos I've ever seen on the internet, which is saying something. Particularly strange is, to begin with, you're sort of like, yeah, okay, fair enough. The Blackburn team are just chilling out in their full kits, in the changing rooms, having some chicken wings. Maybe it's after the match. Maybe they've met up at the weekend. Who knows? But then at the end, you see the team going down the tunnel, which leads me to believe this is actually their pre-game ritual, their pre-game Venkies chicken wings. As you see Ryan Nelson walking down the tunnel, picking chicken from his teeth. Yeah. So anyway, I think we'll end this episode on that bombshell. Join us in episode 2, where we're going to be going through the team, having a little look at what sort of tactics and formations Tim's going to be playing, and if we've got time, maybe a few transfers as well. Yeah, and also, before you go, if you've enjoyed this first episode and you're interested to see how things pan out for Tim, then please do subscribe. I know everyone says this, but do subscribe. I'll be uploading videos every Friday and every Monday from now on, and I promise you at some point we will actually get some games, so that's going to be great. Also, follow us on Instagram at TacticsTim, where I'll be posting up Tim Sherwood videos, memes or memes or whatever the kids are calling them nowadays, and maybe some goals and stuff. And also follow us for regular updates on what's happening with this story mode on ML Story Mode on Twitter. If you want me to get a Facebook, and that's a thing these days still, then I will do that if enough people ask. So let me know. And other than that, that's everything for this episode, so I will see you in a bit.